Okay, we're going to do the mouth and hair today for box modeling. So we've got a half a head here, and it was box modeled. So starting with a cube, it's at a point where it's ready for the mouth. So I like to plan the mouth beforehand just a little bit, and here is an outline or a profile of what it's going to look like. So here in the mouth, I've got the lips ready to extrude in once, and then I'm going to extrude them down twice to match these two edge loops, then in to go up for the gums, and then the teeth down and in to create a mouth and esophagus, and that will give me space for the tongue. Now, the profile is going to look like this. So first extrusion is this for the lips moving in and down, and these two extrusions will match these two so that I get even topology for when I'm rigging the lips. One extrusion in, up for the gums. Maybe I'll need a little extra edge loop here so it will hold the shape, and then the gums come up, and I want this little divot down to hold the teeth in place. I'm not doing individual teeth for this. I certainly could. If I were to do individual teeth, I would just go straight over for the gums and then model the teeth separately and just plop them into the gums. For simple teeth, this works well enough. Bring them up and down and then inside to the mouth. So that's everywhere you see one of these little anchor path dots. That's an extrusion or an edge loop in Maya. So that's the plan for the teeth. Here we go. I go to edge mode, select the lips, and shift with the move tool active to extrude. There's my first extrusion, and reselect. And I'm going to use the scale tool for the next extrusion. Why not? Shift, extrude. Oh, wow, that's why not. That didn't look good at all. That's okay. Not too big a deal. Just move it into place. Little move tool, little scale tool. I want to correct this one before I go any further because that's obviously not going quite to plan. Get these vertices lined up a little better. And you can see that I'm pretty much getting this edge loop lined up with a lip so that I can weight this and this the same on the joints, and they will work together, and I won't have the inside of the mouth poking through the lip when the character talks. So for the next one, I'm just going to do the upper lip, shift drag, and then the lower lip, shift drag. There we go. And that makes this section a little easier to work with. So then I can grab both upper and lower lip, and now I'm thinking about the transition to the gums. So just a teeny push back, and then hold down shift to extrude in just a little, then up for the gums, and I don't need to worry about the matching this edge loop the way I did for the gums, because the way I did for the inner side of the lip, because the gums are stable, they don't move. There we go. And now for the little bit of divot. So in and then up, and bring it in just a little. That'll make it seem like the teeth are actually seated in the gums. Hold down shift, pull up, push it forward because your teeth are a little bit curved. There we go. Get the next one up, and this one goes back to reflect the curve of the teeth. In and down. I don't care about the inside of the mouth curve of the teeth because seriously, I don't think anybody's ever going to see that. And same thing here. I'm just not worrying about the inside detail as much. I'm saving polygons rather than worrying about perfect sculpting on the inside. I just don't think anybody's ever going to see it. So we're good there. So that's the lower lip and gum and teeth. So now I'll grab the upper, scale it a little flatter, and hold down Shift, pull it in, down, oops, hold down Shift, pull it down, and in, down for the front of the teeth, push those forward a little to get the curve of the front teeth, down, in, up, oops, I missed an extrusion, there we go, Shift, up, Shift in for the inside of the gum, and there we go. Obviously there's some weird stuff happening, so we'll fix that. Easiest way to start that process is grabbing this profile here for the gums and teeth, and I'm going to extrude that. So, but first, before I extrude it, I need to get it shaped properly. And this one, let's see, where's it? Get rid of where it's on the inside of the lip. And shape that so its shape makes sense. I want to make sure that it's not actually inside the gum now. And it looks like it is. Back it out just a hair. Or not the gum, it's the lip that I'm worried about. Which means pulling this back a little. And we'll make some adjustments up to this one too, and that'll help fix this issue. Almost there. Maybe rotate that a little. Get rid of that Windows thing, because Windows key is a nightmare. So grab that profile, again, rotate it. There we go. And I want to line it up so that the front teeth are just a little bit over the lower teeth, so that, okay, sure, maybe there's a little bit of an overbite, but ultimately I think it's going to work better. Bring these teeth down a little. There. I think that'll give them a better smile. Maybe scoot them back a teeny bit so that it's not quite such an obvious overbite. That's a little more like the rending teeth of a predator, which is what our front teeth are. They're flesh-cutting teeth. Rotate this one around so that it's going to be better able to extrude, because the teeth come back to about here in the mouth, so I need to extrude them out, make this lining of the mouth make sense. Grab that vertex so it's playing nicely with the others. Okay. And then I'm going to grab all of that mess. Yep, that's that full profile, top and bottom. I'm going to rotate the whole thing a little because it looks a little wonky. Go to the Move tool, Shift, and is that enough teeth? Maybe a little more. That feels like plenty of teeth. Okay. So I'm going to want to where I'm going to need the inside lining of the mouth and all the way down to the esophagus. To get that clean, I want to seal up this stuff. So pen to poly, and Maya's hanging up on me again. Okay, there we go. Okay, G to repeat. And I don't care if there's triangles in here, it really doesn't matter. Try to make them four-siders, but as long as they're not n-gons, it's fine. Okay, so that's that bottom row. Teeth, back of the molars. And, oops, do the same over here. 1 and 2. G to repeat. Clicking on my opposites. G to repeat. Okay. And there's a bunch of triangles there, but it really doesn't matter. And those are all sealed up, so it'll make it much cleaner in terms of what I need to do to with my next extrusions. And since the back teeth are all molars, front teeth are for tearing, back teeth are for grinding plants. So if we have the front ones narrower and the back ones wider, that is how we evolved. So make these more into molars. There we go. Maybe not so much interpenetration. There we go. Okay, so that's molars top and bottom. Okay, so then we're ready to start extruding for the inside of the mouth. Grab that edge loop all the way around the inside and hold down Shift, start to scale it, and extrude with the scale. Save my work. Even this out a little bit because now that I'm past those gums, I don't really need that level of geometry for them. Well, it's not amount of geometry, it's just the shape. It's going to be easier to work with now. Grab it again, one, and double click. Move tool, Shift, and boom. Scale it. Okay, that's a pretty good inside of the mouth. Move tool, one more time to the back. Scale it flat. Whoops. Scale it flat. And I can see I went further than I think the mouth goes. So I'm going to rotate this just a little bit so I can start getting the esophagus in place. W and Shift to extrude. Whoops. And I want to make sure that when you look in, like if he's screaming and you're looking straight back at the mouth, you don't see the back of his head. I want to see the esophagus, inner wall of the mouth, so that way that won't be a problem. So we've got teeth, gums, inside of the mouth, and throw in an edge loop, mesh tools, insert edge loop. That's way more geo than I need. And since I said I don't care about triangles, I'm going to use the multi-cut tool, mesh tools, multi-cut. And so yeah, sometimes I go up there, sometimes I use the hot box. It doesn't matter. There we go. Okay. So now I've got this row of faces. Q to get out of the cut tool, F11 for face mode. Grab that, W, Shift, and up. And I'm going to pull that up twice because that'll give me better geo for the tongue. And then I want to sculpt it a little bit now to get ready for the shape of the tongue. So F10, push that down, in, down and in. And there's that, little line that runs down the center of the tongue, so make that ready. This, push it down more so it's more centered. Okay. There we go. That's nicely arranged faces for a tongue. And hold down Shift, pull it forward once. And really, I'm just thinking about how much I want this. Wow, my tongue is really low. So let's change that. I'm going to grow my selection, holding down Shift and the greater than. And that gives me that, until I get that whole bottom section. Tongue needs to be higher up. Bottom of the mouth isn't that low down. Okay, that's better. Whoop. And I think I'm going to raise this up some more. So there. Okay. That's just a little bit better in terms of placement. That part coming up may not be, anatomically correct, but not something that the audience is ever going to see, so I don't care. And whoop, hold down Shift, extrude, start to scale that in a little, move it towards the center, W, just, trying to figure out. Okay, that was not right. There we go. Now start bringing it down a little, but not much yet. And in some more, over. And let's see, one. Yeah, I'll work with that. There we go. I brought that down too early. Bring out the front tongue, the front of the tongue, because your tip of the tongue is nice and rounded. Maybe rotate that just a hair. Probably do it top and bottom too. Make sure that stopped where I think it did. Yes, it did. Okay, that's a little better in terms of shape. Grab all these faces and delete them because we want it to mirror over better. Do I care about that? Not a whole lot, but maybe I do, so. Pull that back or rotate it. I think I'd rather rotate it. And maybe scale it. Pull it towards center. That'll handle that. It looks a little weird, so I'm going to go grow the tongue and say in my panel, show, isolate select, view selected, turn that on, and that way I can get over to this part of the tongue that I just kind of messed up. Grab some vertices, pull some points till it looks less weird. human body. There we go. Get these guys forward a little. Okay. Okay, that looks round. Turn off show or isolate select. Get the whole thing back. When I scaled the tongue, I'm pretty sure I got this way off center line. Click that one, and along for the upper side. Double click that, and that gives me the whole inside of the mouth, top profile on the edge. Scale them together, and if I just move them out a little and then hold down X for grid snapping, pop that whole thing onto the grid. And do the same for the bottom. Click on that lip, shift double click here. There's that whole thing. Front view, scale it flat, W, hold down X to grid snap. There we go. And now that whole border edge is perfectly on the axis there, and so it'll mirror nicely. Cool. Save my work. And that is pretty good. Done. Tongue and teeth, inside of the mouth. Maybe lower this down just a little. Okay. I don't ever bother with tonsils, but if I had something where I needed them, I could just pop them in there, like just going straight through for that one time that he's screaming, and it's a cartoon thing where you can see the tonsils. I think I would model them separately and just place them in for that one shot the one time it happened. That is the mouth. So now let's take a look at the hair. First thing I want to figure out is where's the scalp. So take a quick stab at it with the paint select tool. Hold down B. B for brush size. Increase my brush size. Yeah, I think that. Grow hair. And when I look at it, whoa, okay. Yeah, you can see that's not really working for a hairline. So I'm going to temporarily add some edges. I'm going to draw in a hairline. Clear my selection, mesh tools, multi-cut tool. Kind of like these for sideburns, so maybe I'll leave them. And that would leave me, yeah. It kind of depends on how high that hairline is. Paint select, give him sideburns. And what I'm going to do with these faces is get rid of this guy. I'm going to duplicate face and make a new mesh. So essentially I'm making a scalp or a hair piece for the hair, and I'm just going to embed it inside the head, and that'll be great. So I go to edit mesh with my faces selected, duplicate options box, make sure separate is on, and hit duplicate. And I'll control click on the head, or go to selection mode, then control click the head. Doesn't want to select object mode. I selected the head, not the hairpiece, so hold down shift, marquee select, and it'll toggle the head out and the hair in. And I'm going to scale it down just a little bit. So my magic hairpiece is now inside the head itself. Cool. Oh, that's weird. That's ugly. I'm going to make a triangle, mesh, multi-cut tool. You know, if your geometry doesn't have this particular issue, you don't have to do this, but this is mine, so, and it's an issue. I don't like the way that was there, so merge those vertices. Okay. F11 for face mode. They're all selected. And let's see, I think I can scale that right up. Yep, there we go. Keep going. And there's part one of the hair. Maybe pull it up, pull it back. Shape it however you want. Everybody's hair is different. Definitely want to move these back. Oops, I've got a lot more. Oh, I see why. Okay. Select these faces because they're a mess. I want them right back on the axis center line, so scale them. Front view, move tool, hold down X for grid snapping. Boom, centered perfectly. Voila. And delete them because I don't actually want them once I mirror over. This is a little weird. Okay, I've got some normals issues, and that's what this border edge is telling me. This border edge here is telling me that the normals aren't flowing correctly. It's going outside, outside, and then this section here should also be outside, but it's inside. So I'll select the whole thing, and let's try mesh display conform. Did that do it for me? Yep. So now this stuff on the inside of the head flows properly with the stuff on the outside of the head. Okay. Make some adjustments here. Okay, I've got some weird stuff going on with the ear. Add an edge loop. And this is one where, this is the shape of this head and the ear. If you don't have this crazy elf ear thing going on, you might not have to add that edge loop there. You may have different issues you have to solve or no issues at all. It totally depends on your model. Okay, that's a little better. Test it in the smooth. Both of them. Looks like my sideburns aren't great. That's a little better. Pull these. Okay. Just shape that a little bit so it looks better. But before I mirror it, I want to just make the hair look a little weird, a little less weird. Right now it's got some lumpy bumpy stuff. That isn't great. Make the edge loop edges flow. Rather than have that come down, I want it to go in and grab, the inside's pretty far in. Okay. That means even when I smooth it, just grab this face, down. Yeah, better sideburns now. Cool. Okay, no wonder that's so weird there. Delete that edge. And use the multi-cut tool, recent commands, multi-cut. Ping that down. Even up my vertices. Now there shouldn't be that divot. Okay. That's a lot less crappy. May even be good. Now I've got that worked out. It just looks better. Less strangeness. So now I'm ready to mirror it. So mesh, mirror options box, and I'm going in positive X. That little red thing tells me so. So X, positive, mirror. Okay. Some of that shape's a little funny. And by a little funny, I mean really bad. Now I can make that look better. He doesn't need to have a little spike on the top of his head. Now for the bangs, go to face mode, select this face. Let's see, I want that. Then face mode. There we go. And edit mesh, extrude options box. Because I have a curve selected, it's automatically coming up curve selected. It knows. I'm going to try about 5 divisions. And taper. Oh yeah, I want this to shrink down to like, let's try 0.1. And hit apply. And there is kind of a cool bang. Whoa, where did that curve come from? While editing the video, I realized all those curves I had were from a previous part of the project, and so I didn't actually demo making them here. You can see that I used curves, shaped them to make a whole bunch of bangs, but how did I get the curve to actually do that? So I went over to Create, Curve Tools, CV Curve Tool, and I like to work in front, side, or top, any of the orthogonal views, and that way it'll appear straight on the axis. So if I want to make a fun little curve here, and I'm doing it in the side view, you can see it's perfectly on that axis, on the at the center of the x-axis. And all I have to do is just click, and it creates these control vertices shaping the curve. I hit enter when I'm done, and there's my curve. You have to click at least, I think it's 4 times in order to get a curve. So there is my curve, and so I'll make one more hair extrusion. When I have my curve selected, the pivot point is by default created at the origin, so I go modify, center pivot, and now it's a little more useful. It's just easier to work with. I don't need to snap it or anything. So I'll just scoot it over a little bit, and let's see, select the face, right click, object mode, select the hair, come back, face again, and now I have this face and this curve, and edit mesh, extrude options box. This one's a longer spiral. It's going to take a lot more than 5 divisions, so I'm going to try 11, random guess. Tapering, point, I'm going to make this one sharper, 0.05, and hit apply. And now he's got this super cool curve on the top of his head, better than a mohawk. So that is how I created the curves and extruded along them. If I go to object mode, right click on the curve, control vertex, I want that one too. History will move that, and there we go. Go a little further, and maybe just some of these vertices now. Makes it a more fun spiral shape. Push it out this way. So you can do all kinds of crazy extrusions with hair and curves. Okay, have fun.